am so sorry that I was late. 16 minutes late. My bad. I really apologize. I usually am right on time. How did water get on the mirror? Anyhow, I wanted today's live to be about how the topic of discussion is um, he doesn't care about your feelings. Men are not emotional creatures like women mostly expect them to be. A lot of women, wish that men were so emotional, and they are simply not. That's not the way they were created. That's not how their brain is designed or programmed to be. So that's what this live is about. It's about women wanting men to be so in touch and in tune with their emotions, and they're just not. And the more women understand that men don't want to sit around and talk about how you feel or their feelings, you've never, really heard most men say, okay, let's sit down, let's have a discussion about our feelings. Men don't do that. Men think logically. Men think, like what is best for them. They don't think like women think. Women are so emotional. Women make, a lot of decisions based off of their emotions and their feelings. Women are into feelings. Men are not always into feelings. Men think like, what makes sense. That's how men think. Men think, let me do what makes sense for me in my life. So, women are the emotional type. That's the way we were programmed, we were born, we were designed to think with our feelings, with our heart, with our emotions. Men don't. Men think like, let me do what's best for me and my life. So, women, mostly, are in their feelings when it comes to like anniversaries and things. Oh, he didn't remember. He's not emotional. He's not an emotional creature. He just wasn't designed that way. So he's not, gonna be thinking like, oh, I need to get in my calendar and remember all these special things, and I'm thinking about her heart. He's not. When he wants to go lay up with somebody else, he's not thinking about, oh, let me stop and not do that because I'm worried about how she's gonna feel. No, he's thinking about himself. He's thinking about what's gonna make him feel right. So, some, women just want, men to think or feel feel so much like we feel, but they don't. They don't. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to be late, but I was trying to look a little decent because Makeup helps that. But I am appreciative of everybody that pulled up and showed up. Oh goodness, here she goes. Quiet, Aggie. It's probably just the neighbors. Quiet. Why is my drawing getting so sloppy today? It's not usually sloppy. But anyways, I'm only going to be here until 6 p.m. Got a habit of picking up that 5:21. Woo! Well, I'll probably stay until 6:15. Yeah, I think I'm going to stay until 6:15. You know, just in case. I mean, not just in case, just because I came in late. So since I came in 15 minutes late, I'll stay until 6:15, and then I'm gonna run and skedaddle around that time. It was a busy day today. Had to cut my middle son's hair because his birthday is tomorrow, y'all. I cannot believe that my middle child is turning 17. Time sure flies. I still can't believe that I have a about to be 25-year-old. Time be flying by. But trying to stay on the subject of men men are not emotional creatures. Men are logical thinkers. So if you wonder, you know, why men move the way that they do, it's because they're not, you know, just sit and think about that. Like, have you ever heard, you know, a man say, sit down, we need to have a talk. We need to talk about how you feel and how I feel. You don't. Men are not prioritizing emotions. They're prioritizing what food, how they're gonna eat, you know. They're prioritizing what woman they can grab to look good on their arm. They're prioritizing them some money in their pocket so they can keep a woman. Because women are expensive. Women are expensive. Yeah, I don't know. I just recently started liking the matte look on as far as my lips, because I had put on some of my Girl Talk lip gloss that I created, and I went into the store and And when I came out of the store, I looked at my lips, and the line was all messed up. Like, it looked so a mess and out of place. I said, I ain't never doing that again. Putting lip gloss on top of this lip stuff. But yeah, y'all be free, feel free to ask any questions, or, you know, about your own relationship, because this is about you all. It's not about, you know, me or anything about me. It's about you all. What the heck? Why does this side of the lip look like that? That's a mess. That looks a little better. I think it's the lighting. Anyway, but yeah, that's why I decided to start going live here on my YouTube, so I can, you know, help y'all with y'all relationship questions. If y'all have any, feel free to type them in. You'll have until 6:15 answering relationship questions. Y'all need advice. I'm gonna be coming here every day at the same time between 5 and 6, 5:30, 6:30, between those times, to help you all with what's the best advice. What do you think you should do? Because I know I wish there was YouTube and stuff when I was coming up and dealing with men and wondering what I should do, what would be the best advice. We didn't have that. All we had was MySpace. And that was later on. That wasn't even like, you know, that was towards, that was when I was, I think, just turning into in my early 30s. I think that's when we got MySpace. No, it was late. I think I was like 26, 27. Yeah, I was like 26 or 27 when we started having social media. And people weren't heavy on YouTube, how people are heavy on YouTube and all this stuff now. But yeah, I wish we had something back then, you know, that personalities, people coming, you know, that you could ask questions live and stuff too. We didn't have that. Like this generation, you know, computers are really speeding up technology, really, you know, helpful in like every kind of area, in every area of your life, you know, can help improve if you know, like where to go, what to look for. But anyways, I do want to stay on subject. This darn marker, I'm gonna have to get another one because it seems to be drying out. I don't like that. When I get something, I want it to work and work right away. I have had this for a while, but anyways, y'all, yeah, men really think for themselves. They think for what's the betterment of their own lives, what makes their life, you know, simple, easy, you know, what makes sense for them, what makes logical sense for their life. They're not prioritizing the woman that they're with, they're not prioritizing, you know, her emotions most times. Sometimes, you know, sometimes they will. They, especially if they were somewhat close, you know, had a close relationship with like their mother or their grandmother, they'll know, like, you know, what is important to a woman. So they'll take the time to, you know, oh, let me go out, let me go get her, you know, a Mother's Day card or a birthday card or a Christmas, you know, make sure I get her, you know, something nice for Christmas, stuff like that, because, you know, they spent a lot of time around women, so they know, you know, more than men that didn't grow up, more than men that didn't grow up with, you know, shh, what's the matter with you? Nobody's at the door. Relax. Relax, Ag. Quiet. So, you know, they've learned, the men that have spent time, you know, with women really close, that had women in their life, they know, like, women are emotional and it matters to them. You know, it matters to a woman if you remember, like, you know, special days and her birthday and, you know, the love holiday, you know, Valentine's Day, make sure she feels special, you know. Christmas, you know, your wedding anniversary, you know, things like that. You know, he'll remember if he, you know, had was brought up, you know, by his mom, his aunt, his grandmother. He'll already, you know, he'll already come like that. Some men, you know, too, they don't mind being, you know, taught, even if they didn't, you know, have a mother figure, they don't mind being taught, you know, like, how to cater to a woman. They don't mind being taught, you know, because they want to keep a woman around, you know, so they don't mind learning how they can increase, you know, a woman, you know, being happy in their life, so they can, you know, live happily together. What's that old saying? A happy wife is a happy life. And it's true. It's true. If she's happy, then she's going around gloating, you know, being happy, being in a good one, you know, around the house. And if he sees that and he's in her presence, he's gonna feel that, you know. So it's really true when they say happy wife, happy life, you know. So there is truth to happy wife, happy life. You know, I grew up in you know, I grew up seeing marriage, you know, between my parents, you know, so I know, because I was the happy little kid swinging, holding both my parents' hands while we was shopping down at the local mall. Dad hold one hand, mom holding the other, and I'm swinging and jumping. So, mom was happy when we was going shopping, and dad was happy because she was happy. So, happy wife, happy life. But yeah, so y'all, I'm trying to sharpen my thing. I know y'all don't care, but I'm trying to sharpen my eyeliner thing so that it works right. Gotta get this makeup on to look nice. I gotta turn the notifications off because I was making a video yesterday and it cut out a whole 2 minutes worth of it. But anyways, let's get back on subject of, men are not emotional creatures. Men think logically. So the more women understand that men think logically, I believe relationships between men and women will work better, because women should understand that. Like, he's not designed like you. His brain doesn't fire and wire like yours does. His brain is totally different. That's why, like, if you ever sat and discussed, emotions with a man, you'll notice, like if you pay attention to people's like expressions and just the way that they move, you could tell, like, as soon as you start talking like emotions, he'll have the non-interested type of attitude, or he won't say much, because that's just not what piques men's interest, is to let's sit and spend a lot of time talking about how we feel. He doesn't care. He doesn't care as much. He might care a little bit, but he doesn't care to sit and just talk hours and so many, hours and reasons and things and how you feel and how he feels. He doesn't care. Like, you could tell, like, whenever, just pay attention. Next time, if you already, are in a relationship, and you start discussing feelings, just watch and look at him and see. It's true. Men, they don't care. They don't care how you feel. They're not emotional. Women want so bad. So bad. Some women do. Most women that don't understand that men are not emotional creatures, they want so bad, so bad, so bad him to feel, how she feels, and he doesn't. So just pay attention to that. Next time, you guys are having a discussion, just watch, and see. He'll flicking the channel on the TV. Yeah, I'm listening. He's listening, but he doesn't care like a woman cares. He just doesn't. They're not built that way in their brain. They don't have the same chemicals, working the way that a woman's brain has. So men will not, just be so, some men will be emotional. And I feel like the men that are super emotional, they were probably most times raised only with a woman figure in the household. So he was learning from the woman how to deal with things. And a lot of times, he will be emotional by that default, because he was, raised with, an emotional person. So that's what, his conscious mind sucked up and, learned, like, oh, this is, how I'm supposed to react and things like that. But when boys are raised by, their fathers, or they spend more time with their fathers, they'll pick up that masculinity, they'll pick up that, testosterone, they'll pick up the ways of how masculine men, deal with when it comes to, like, just growing up and being emotional and not being emotional. Because men that are raised with women, they tend to be more emotional, whereas men that are raised by their fathers, if the father is more masculine, he won't always, do things and react with his emotions, because he'll just be more nonchalant. He'll just be more chill. He'll just be more, manly, when it comes to his emotions, or how he feels, how he makes decisions and things like that, because that's just, what I've been noticing is that it's mostly the men that are raised around a lot of women, whether it was their aunt, or a cousin, or I was about to say a niece that raised them. That's possible, but a grandparent, a female that raised men, those men tend to have more feminine traits than the men that were raised, mostly by their father, or spend the majority of their time, looking at dad, watching dad, spending time with dad, going to work with dad. Those men that are raised by dad and spend a lot of time with dad, and dad doesn't, wasn't raised a lot around, women, and he was raised around his father and his grandfather, and he learned how to have, manly ways. He is passing that to his son, to not be so reactive when it comes to, like, emotions. They don't sit around and talk about emotions. Men want to sit around and discuss, sports. They want to sit around and talk about, work, or some women's that they like. Men are not, thinking like a woman thinks. They just don't, because they are not us. They are not us, but they love us. Well, the right masculine type do. Because it's a lot of men nowadays, and they don't love women. And it's really sad, but it's the truth. Every time y'all come to any one of my channels, you're always going to hear some truth. So if you don't like the truth, don't come here. Don't come here. Okay. But yeah, women are emotional creatures, and a lot of times we make decisions with our emotions, and it's not the best way to be either. Women have to get out of making life decisions, even temporarily, even business decisions. A lot of ladies gotta stop that. Stop allowing your emotions to dictate how you run your business. You gotta stop letting your emotions supersede your intelligence. It's like, be intelligent, make smart decisions, no matter how you feel, because your emotions can get you put away for, a long time. Your emotions can get you put in a place that you do not want to be in. I learned that. I didn't learn it as fast as I should have, but your emotions can get you in a lot of trouble, especially if you deal, if you, like constantly making life decisions based on, how you're feeling in that moment. A lot of people weren't taught, like, when I was growing up and stuff, they weren't taught, like, don't make a decision right away because somebody said something to you and you didn't like it, what they said, or you didn't like how they said it, and so you just fly off the handle. And it's like, a lot of times you can't go back and take what you said back or take what you did back. So, it's best to give yourself some time, and say, you know what, I'm feeling upset. As soon as you identify, like, what emotion you're feeling, it's best to say, you know what, let me not respond, in this moment. Let me not, fly off the handle. Let me, walk away. Go take, 5 minutes to yourself. Go take 10 minutes a day if you need to. A week, a month, however long. Go take time to yourself and, just take some real deep breaths, because real deep breathing helps. I mean, with everything. If it helps in labor, it helps with everything in life. It helps to calm your mind. It helps to put more oxygen and blood flow in your brain, in your blood vessels. Deep breathing relaxes you. So don't make decisions when your emotions are super high. That is not the best thing to do, because it can get you, put away for a very long time. It can get you, messed up in life. You'll lose a whole bunch of, you can lose a place to live. You can lose a person in your life. You can lose your own life. You can lose anything because you make a bad decision right in the moment at the height of your emotions. So it's always best to just take time, and walk away, breathe deep, stay away, from situations, stay away from people that trigger your emotions. It's best to just always not make a decision right away on how you're going to behave, or even how you're going to react. It's not always good to react when you are in the very height of your emotions. A lot of times it's best to just take time and, think the situation over, and, then respond. Once you have calmed down and, come to a calm state of mind, and you've had time to think things over, then it's always best to, then make, a a decision, you know, then respond, you know, once you've calmed down and, you know, had time to think things through. But it's not, you know, your emotions can get you in trouble if you are not in control of your emotions, you know. Yeah, so that's why they say it's smart for you to, you know, pause, think, identify how you're feeling, and then, you know, respond. Because responding is better than reacting. Because a lot of times, especially nowadays, people will poke and poke and poke and try to get you to react. And sometimes, to me, every time, not sometimes, every time, it's best to not react. It's best to, you know, just kind of step back and just, you know, look at the situation as if you were an outsider, and, you know, don't place yourself in the situation. Step on the outside and have a look, and don't react, you know, but just take time and then respond. You know, emotions are part of being a human being, you know. I'm on live. But yeah, men do not think like women. 5:53. So yeah, I'm gonna start coming every day, Monday through, I think, Saturday. I'm not sure yet, but I will be dedicating an hour every day to come here. And the more people that come and interact or ask questions and like that, then I'll add more days on. So I'll add Saturday if, like, Monday through Friday, you know, is good, as far as like, oh, somebody said good morning. I'm so sorry, y'all. I can't see without my glasses. So please don't think that I'm ignoring you, but I have to have my glasses on in order to see the words. Oh, okay, good morning, hello. Yeah, I'm sorry, because I'm not a rude person. I don't be ignoring people. You know, to me, that's really rude. Like, if somebody calls you or texts you and you just like totally ignore people, that's rude. And I'm not that. I'm not, you know, that type of person where I just, you know, ignore people. I don't like when people behave rudely. So, you know, just to let you guys know, I'm not the type to ignore people here. And yeah, so the better that, you know, these lives, you know, go, the more time, you know, that I don't mind staying on. But it's getting close to 6 o'clock now. But yeah, it is important for more women to understand that men don't, you know, care about emotions. Men don't, you know, usually typically want to sit around and discuss feelings and emotions. Yeah, so I'm hoping that more ladies come through, and we'll be able to, help each other out here on this channel. Like, that's another thing I want to say too is, to all my subscribers, you guys feel free to go through some of my older videos and create, playlists of the videos that I'm teaching, about like money tips, or if it piques your interest, because this channel is sort of divided. It's like, I teach money, and then I teach, about, men. So if you're more interested in, learning about men and how men think, then feel free to create your playlist on the men section. If you feel like you're here to learn money secrets, make your playlist here on YouTube with all of my videos about money. And whenever you have free time, just, put it in your earbuds while you're at work, on your break, and listen while you out washing your clothes, riding your bike, listen to the videos, because there's so much helpful information on this channel. Like, I give you guys diamond and gold information on this channel. To me, like, I don't want to say I give more valuable information here than I do on my TikTok page, but I just might. I think it just all depends on the person. Like, if you value what I talk about on my TikTok page and you're interested in that more, then hey, that's why they have that saying, to each its own, to each his own, however you say it. Anyway, it's 5:57 now, so yeah, just wanted to remind y'all of that, and remind y'all that y'all can come here, join me on my lives. Y'all can, recruit some other, women to come and join the live with us, or even join the channel, because I created this so that, this could be a woman's community where women help, uplift each other, help, other women to put the information out there that, the more women that like dress feminine, the more women that, that don't have the Barbara the Builder and Pick Misha type of mindset, the less, we will have of dusty men thinking that they can live off of women, backs and shoulders and necks. Like, a lot of men get upset when they find like channels like mine, and as well as the major influencers of this type of content, because they're pissed that women are waking up to seeing how they will like live with a woman and be saving their money and be building, up a whole like empire, while stepping on her neck, while having his foot on her shoulder, and then when a woman that he truly wants comes around, he'll take and get all the money that he saved from living with the Pick Misha, from living with the Barbara the Builder type, and he'll go and take all that money and spend it on her and give her everything she ever wanted. So, this channel is to, help women to, learn, like, masculine men, to catch them. You have to be in your feminine energy. You have to dress more in girly type clothing. You have to, be calm, be feminine, don't be and ready to, be like manly. I know, a lot of women had to grow up and protect themselves and be the man because they didn't have a man in their life. They had to be their own protector. They had to, be tough, so that's why I'm asking if, you are a girl's girl and you want to see, more women, dressing feminine and, just, being a girl's girl, helpful to other women, helpful to other, ladies and young ladies and the younger generation, because us as older women, we are supposed to be helping the younger generation. We're supposed to want them to have a better life, to do better in life than us. I don't want young women that's younger than me, to have to experience anything that I ever went through. So that's another reason why I, created this channel, was because, I wanted to help, women prevent having to deal with things that I've dealt with or things that I grew up in experienced, because it wasn't nice all the time. So, yeah, so let me see, what time is it? 6:02. I'm gonna stay on just for a little bit longer, but I want women to know that you guys have this space and this time, Monday through Friday, every day, Monday through Friday, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Maybe sometimes from 6 to 7 p.m. But within those time frames, I'm going to dedicate to coming here Monday through Friday. Like I said, if we get a lot of people asking, relationship questions, questions about men questions, I'm sorry. But it's in the category of relationships. So if we get more people interacting and, things like that, then, I'll stretch the time to maybe an hour and a half, or things like that. But yeah, so that's what the mission is. The mission is to create, space for women to, be comfortable and hang out and, support each other, inform each other, because that is another, thing that I wish I had when I was younger. So, for women to be able to come here and, basically, recognize, when a man is trying to, take advantage of you, and for you to be able to weed those type of men out and say, oh no, he ain't a one that's trying to add to my life. Because a lot of women aren't aware of that, that when a man comes into your life, he is supposed to be adding. He is not supposed to be coming to your life and saying, what can you do for me? No, that's backwards. Men are the providers by nature. If you think about it from caveman times, what did men do in the caveman times? He went out, he hunted, and he brought some stuff back to the cave, didn't he? Okay. Proof that men are the providers. I don't care what no man says that tries to argue, that women are providers. We're not. We are the receivers. Men have always been the provider by nature. That's why their part is outside of them, because they are providing. They're putting something in, right? They're putting thing into the receiver, which is a woman. So, you know, if a man comes into your life and he is subtracting, he is not the ideal type of man that we are looking for. We are looking for masculine, provider type men. We want the men that naturally want to provide. We don't want the men that think that a woman is a provider. We don't want those type of men. 606. I'm only going to spend a little bit more time on here, and then I am going to go. But yeah, we need more women to get the memo. So that's why, you know, I share my videos, and I'm so appreciative of the people that come here and take the time to comment and take the time to even say hello, you know, and hit the like button. Like, I appreciate you all. I really do. I really do. Because there wouldn't be a channel if it, you know, if it wasn't for, you know, other people, you know, interacting and things like that. So, you know, I just feel like this channel is very necessary. I'm going to be discussing a new topic every single day here. 607. So yeah, I'm always gonna have a new topic that I feel like women should, you know, be aware of when it comes to dealing with men. A lot of men feel like a woman should carry her own weight. To me, I agree a little bit. The reason I say a little bit is because a woman should always have her own income. I do agree with that part of it. But the very moment that a man tries to enter a woman's life, ladies, we have been doing it backwards for, I think, you know, I don't know, 2 generations maybe. And, you know, that strong, independent, these songs trick people. They trick people. They really do, because I was listening the other day to Ne-Yo's song where he was saying, I love me a strong, independent woman. So if you guys notice, songs are also spells. And they push that narrative on certain demographics of people too. Because if you've noticed, when that song came out, oh, I love me an independent woman, there were so many women with that train of thought thinking, oh, I'm independent. You should be. Only until the moment a man tries to enter your life. The moment men try to enter your life, he needs to be providing, especially if he wants to have you to himself. Even in dating, because when you're dating, he's pulling out his wallet. That's how it was when I was growing up. He pulls out his wallet. She just stood there and she's being pretty, okay? Because, yeah, you pay for, you know, being able to be in the essence of a woman, for, you know, being, you know, able to experience a woman's energy, you know? But yeah, it's 6:10 now, so nobody really came in too much, in just two people I see here. But like I said, the more people that come in here and ask questions and, you know, engage more, the longer time I will spend. But you know, I appreciate everybody that does come in and hit the like button, and, you know, support the videos, share the videos, things like that. That's the middle finger. I am putting these nails on, y'all. I be trying to have my nails look decent. But yeah, so the more that, you know, people come in here and ask questions and engage and things like that, the longer I'll stay. So yeah, just remember, since I am getting ready to end this live, ladies, just remember, men don't think like women. Men are not emotional creatures. They won't ever be. They don't care to sit around and talk about feelings. So, you know, to me, that's where you should take the time. Whenever you want to discuss your feelings or your emotions or talk about your relationship, you go do that with your homegirls. You go do that with your cousins and sisters and, you know, mothers and grandmothers and whoever wants to, you know, discuss that, because the men don't care. Men don't want to talk about that, you know. But I love y'all. Thank y'all for stopping through, and y'all have a blessed rest of y'all evening. See y'all on the next video.